At the lowest point in Egyptian history, when the country was fractured and its temples were falling apart, a kingdom from the south arrived and saved it. For a century, the pharaohs of Egypt were black African kings from Nubia, and almost no one knows this story. In 747 BC, the Nubian king Kashta, also known as Kushite king Kashta, began his campaign to conquer Egypt, marking the beginning of the 25th dynasty, which would last for 91 years and include 8 pharaohs, who would restore Egypt's former glory. But can you imagine how different our understanding of history would be if we had been taught about these black pharaohs in school? As you delve into the history of this period, you'll find that Egypt was indeed in a state of disarray, with the Third Intermediate Period, which lasted from 1070 to 664 BC, seeing the country fragmented into smaller kingdoms, and the once great temples, such as the Temple of Ammonius at Karnak, built during the New Kingdom period, which began around 1570 BC and ended with the death of Pharaoh Ramses XI in 1070 BC, were falling into ruin. The Egyptian economy was also in shambles, with trade and commerce at an all-time low, and the population was dwindling, with some estimates suggesting that the population of Egypt had decreased by as much as 30% between 1200 and 1000 BC. What would have happened to Egyptian culture if these Nubian kings had not intervened? Would it have been lost forever, and how would that have impacted the development of Western civilization? In 721 BC, the Nubian king Shabaka, who ruled Egypt from 716 to 704 BC, defeated the Assyrian Empire, led by King Sargon II, at the Battle of Memphis, which took place on March 15, 706 BC, and this victory allowed the Nubians to consolidate their power in Egypt, and they went on to restore many of the temples, including the Temple of Ammonius at Thebes, which was built during the reign of Pharaoh Hatshepsut, who ruled from 1479 to 1458 BC. The Nubian king Taharka, who ruled from 690 to 664 BC, was particularly notable for his extensive building projects, including the construction of the Temple of Kawa, which was built between 685 and 680 BC, and the restoration of the Temple of Edfu, which was originally built during the reign of Pharaoh Ptolemy III, who ruled from 246 to 221 BC. The Nubian pharaohs also revived the ancient Egyptian tradition of mummification, with the tomb of Pharaoh Taharka, discovered in 1916 by the Italian archaeologist Ernesto Schiaparelli, providing valuable insights into the funerary practices of the time. And can you imagine the richness of our understanding of history if we had more archaeological evidence like this to draw upon? The Nubian king Psamtik I, who ruled from 664 to 610 BC, would eventually drive the Assyrians out of Egypt and establish the 26th dynasty, also known as the Sate dynasty, which would last for 138 years, and include 9 pharaohs, who would go on to build many of the temples and monuments that we associate with ancient Egypt today. The impact of the Nubian pharaohs on Egyptian history cannot be overstated, as they not only restored the country's temples and economy, but also ensured the continuation of Egyptian culture, with the construction of the Temple of Hybes, built during the reign of Pharaoh Psamtik I, providing a testament to the enduring legacy of the Nubian pharaohs, and the discovery of the tomb of Pharaoh Taharka, which contained many artifacts, including a golden funerary mask, and a set of canopic jars, made of alabaster, which were used to store the pharaoh's internal organs. And what would our understanding of ancient Egyptian funerary practices be without the discovery of these artifacts? The Nubian pharaohs also left a lasting legacy in the field of architecture, with the construction of the Temple of Kawa, which was built using the distinctive Nubian style, characterized by the use of red sandstone, and the inclusion of pyramidal structures, and the restoration of the Temple of Edfu, which was originally built during the reign of Pharaoh Ptolemy III, and would go on to become one of the most important temples in ancient Egypt. As you reflect on the story of the Nubian pharaohs, you're left to wonder, what would have happened if their achievements had been recognized and celebrated by colonial-era Egyptologists? Would our understanding of ancient Egyptian history be more nuanced and inclusive, and would we have a more complete picture of the rich cultural heritage of Africa? And how would that have changed the way we think about the development of Western civilization, and would we have a more accurate understanding of the complex and multifaceted nature of human history?